Now, the first thing you want to do, you know you're going to be working with V is equal to 1/3 pi r squared, right? Pi r squared h. So that's given. Volume is equal to 1/3 pi r squared h. Make sure I wrote that down right. Sometimes I forget. Well, it don't help us at all unless we figure out the related what? The related rate. Dang old 2 is to 4. I don't understand. There we go. Two is to 4 as what? R is to H. So 2H is equal to 4R, and we want to solve it in relation to R because we're going to plug R. We're going to take R, whatever it's equal to, and plug it in so we'll have the H there. So divide by 4, divide by 4, H over 2 is equal to R. We're going to take that and do what? Plug and chug. V is equal to 1/3 pi parentheses H. And plug in H over 2. And that gives you V is equal to 1/3 pi. Now you can say 1/2 H, and the 1/2 is 1 what? 1/4. And then of course the H squared times H. 1/3 times 1/4 is 1/12, and then pi over 12 times H what? Let's just put that in a now take the derivative. In respect to what? Respect to t, right? Take the derivative in respect to t. Yes, Hubert. No, Hubert. Thank you. I thought this is going to work. What is that? Did I draw that? Oh my gosh, it actually worked. Well, the arrow didn't work. So, I'm going to do d over dt of v equals pi 12 h cubed. Oops. And that's going to be dv dt is equal to, that pi over 12 comes out, and that's going to be 3h squared, what? dh dt.
Why don't you take a derivative of pi over 12?
Come on.
Because it's
about what pi over 12 is. Whenever you get confused about pi, put a 3 in. Okay, what is 3 over 12? And what is that? Yep, what is that? Starts with an N. U, M.
Number.
Good job! And what do you do with a number?
It goes
You can pull it what?
out.
Out. Or the derivative of 1/3 x is 1/3. Okay? We just pulled that out, took the derivative here in respect to t. The only thing that you're thinking, if this had been an h, then what would it have been?
0.
Then it had been pi over 12, the constant, and then dh dt. But I think what's messing you up is you're thinking this is a derivative. You can take the derivative, but you can't pull it out. Always, when you think of pi, think of 3. And hopefully it'll jar something and say, oh, that's a constant. Pull it out. That's
So say like a pi over 12, it was 3h, you would just pull out the 3. And
Yes, it would be 3 pi over 12, and then take the derivative of h cubed.
we never take the derivative of the constant.
No, you never do that. Well, you take the derivative of constant. What's the derivative of 4?
So why would we put 0 in? I mean, I get it.
Leave.
Okay.
Come on, look. What's the derivative of 2x? 2. What's the derivative of 2x squared? Why didn't you take the derivative of 2? You don't.
I don't know.
You don't.
Okay.
You don't.
Okay.
What do? You pull this out. And then what's the derivative of x squared?
So when we always hate it, it's like connected by plus or minus then? Is that right? Because we can't
Yeah.
do exist time?
On this different terms, yeah.
Okay. That's misconception.
Yeah, you get and don't feel bad because that's what happens. You do so many derivatives that sometimes you get them mixed up. And the only thing that I can tell you is when you're playing a piano, you hit the wrong note sometime. Yes, Hubert. Thank you, class. So how's the best way to overcome that? Quit? Yes. No. How's the best way to overcome it? What's that called? It's called practice. Yeah. Practice. Okay, did I discourage y'all enough? Yep. Good. So, what we got to do here? We got to clean this up because this is a mess. So, dv dt is equal to, well, this 3 can go with this, but what does the 3 and the 12 do? Pi over what?
4.
Pi over 4, good. H squared dh dt. Oh, I wish I could brought my drink. All right, now what are you saying to yourself at this point? Wait a minute, let's do this. Part 1, find your what? Find your related what? Rate. Part 2, plug in what? Part 3, in respect to what? T. And then at this part right here, just like number 2, what? Plug in what? Okay, well, what do I plug in, Hubert? Well, go back to what you're given. What is this? dv dt. Hey, there's dv dt right there. dV dt is equal to 2. You can put the units in there. This ain't science class. I'm not worried about that right now. Is equal to pi over 4. Now, which one of these are we given? H. Now, Miss Anthony, what are we going to solve for? There you go. Which is, what is that in layman's terms? dH dt. What is that in layman's terms? Well, dH over dt means rate. Rate of the what? Well, what is H? dH? The height. Exactly. The rate that it is rising at 3 meters. Hopefully some of y'all are saying, you know what, I think I can get this stuff. And then we can kick the air out of your lungs next semester with the tanks. Right? Two is equal to, how many of y'all done pre-advising? Scheduled? Good. I need y'all to sign up because I love teaching Calc 2. Pi over 4. I love failing students. 9 dH dt. And I'm going to erase all this in my little picture. I don't know where that came from. You know, somebody in here might actually have found out that these can be what? Okay, nobody's going to talk to me. It's okay. Huh? Interesting. I'm not going to use the word fun because you'd be just a geek if you thought they were fun. But some of them can be interesting once you what? Understand them. So, this is 2 equals 9 pi over 4 dH dt. And some of y'all are going, Hubert, what are you doing? Well, I'm trying to get it down to a 1 fraction so I can use my head maybe instead of depend on a calculator. So, how do you get rid of multiplying by 9 pi over 4? Divide by 9 pi over 4. But if you divide by a fraction, you multiply by what? 4 over 9 pi. So we get 8/9 pi, or 8 pi over 9, is equal to dH dt. 8/9, like 7/8. Anybody knows what a 7/8 wrench looks like? 7/8 is close to what? What do you want?
I tried writing it like 8 over 9 homework, but it said it was wrong.
Don't worry about it. It probably wants a decimal. That's what we're fixing to do.
It said like it should be 8 over 9 times pi.
No, it should not. It should be 8 pi over 9. Oh, well, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I'm thinking of... Okay, you're right. Because this is down here. You're right. Hold on. At least I admit it. You know the worst thing than a calculus teacher getting the wrong answer?
Calculus teacher will end up getting that wrong.
There you go. You had a pretty good teacher in the past. Let's see. So that's really 8 over 27. And 8 over 27, about like 8 over 24. 8 over 24 comes out to be 1/3. So I'd say it's around 0.33. Is it positive or negative? Positive. Why? Because what is the volume in doing? It's being pumped in, so it's increasing. So the reason I tell you to do that is use a little bit of common sense. If you get a negative and you know it's supposed to be positive, just erase the negative. Okay? And you shouldn't get a negative because we're not taking away anything. It's not being pumped out, it's being pumped in. Somebody do the math. What do you get?
0.28.
0.28? Okay. So this comes out to be 0.28. That's approximate. That's estimated. But it's equal to 0.28 or 0.3. Approximate, exact. And I would take 8 over 9 pi. That's not a big deal. We good? All right. Now do the last one. And I'm going to set it up for you. And I want y'all to do it. For the 3 or 4 that watched the video, y'all already done it probably, but that leaves about 15 of y'all that didn't do it. I'm going to try some. Dang, oh, y'all impressed, aren't you? I figured y'all would be. I'm fixing to screw it up now. All right, somebody tell me what the other, oh, I got it right here. This one's centimeters, right? So this is a water cup. You know, in most drawing applications, when you do the whole thing and you want to move it, usually there. Thank you. What a concept. 3 centimeters, correct? Is that what I told y'all? 3 centimeters is the radius? I'll fill that in just a minute. And the height is 8 centimeters. I'm looking to see if there's anything else. Okay, there's a liquid. How fast is the water? It's water, so we'll take our handy dandy. Four centimeters. 4 is about halfway. Now put everything up there now. So we got a radius is 3 centimeters, and the height is 8 centimeters. It's filling up at, I guess dV dt is 50. Y'all have 50 centimeters cubed per second.
Yeah.
Okay. dV dt is equal to 50 cubic centimeters per second. And they want to know how fast the water is rising at 4 centimeters. Or the rate the water is rising at 4 centimeters. So again, we're looking for what? dH dt. Now that question on the test that I've told you about, it's going to ask you, what are you looking for? Well, on the shadow, what are you looking for? What's the 2? There's one that's the rate, which is dx dt. And then what else? Or ds dt, sorry. There's ds dt, and what's the whole length? What? I think it's DHDT, isn't it? So when they ask you, what are you looking for? That's what they're asking. DHDT is what you're looking for. And then put out to the side the rate that the water is what? Rising. On the shadow problem, it would be the rate the shadow is what? Changing. Make sure you know what you're looking for, okay? So get to work. First thing you do is find your similar triangle. What time is this class over? Huh? At 10? I got
Whatever you tell us to leave.
okay. I got a student coming in at 10:15. That's why I was asking.
Oh, in that case, it ended about an hour.
No, be quiet. Get to work. Get to work. Oh my gosh, I got a phone call from Ted Cruz organization. Oh, I blasted them. They said, would you vote for Ted Cruz? I'd say, hell no. And they went, oh, is there any particular reason? I said, yes, he's a politician. Oh, well, he's a new politician. I said, there ain't no difference. What were you going to say?
He sends me emails all the time.
Oh my gosh, the other day, this is no joke, Donald Trump was doing an interview, and he said the gun. And the day after, I get an email that says, I have a gun. I'm
Yes.
like, you're pitiful.
Yes, I got the same email. Did you see the email about the sacrifice he's made so far running for presidency?
Yeah, he needs money.
Well, he needs money, but he's been living off pizza and he hasn't been able to see his
Oh,
family.
heaven forbid you live off of pizza.
I know, right?
Next, he's going to be living off of ramen noodles.
And he's been working long hours.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, well, welcome to college.
Exactly. Welcome to the real world.
Yeah.
I went to see Trump last night.
How was that?
Oh, it was packed.
That's what I heard.
And you know what? And if you're offended by this, I care less. There was blacks, there was whites, there was Latinos, there was young people, there was old people, there was vets, there was women. I mean, it was all across the board. But the news says that Latinos hate him and women hate him. Oh my gosh, there was high school students at this thing.
He was at Teal Manor yesterday. Was he?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that's what the news said.
No, he was supposed to be at T.L. Hanna. They shipped him, it blew up. The internet blew up asking for more tickets, so they moved it from T.L. Hanna to the Civic Center, which is never used anyway, so.
Yeah. I remember, I think a lady fainted there, too. That
A what?
They were showing it on CNN, and there's a lady at the Trump thing that fainted.
I didn't see that, and I was there. There was like 6,000 people in the Civic Center, and it's maxed out. They couldn't use chairs, so everybody was standing. And my 8-year-old wanted to go. So I got him a ticket. It was great. He did a great job. He bashed everybody. He didn't bash Carson and Fiorina, though. Oh, and he is very clever. You see what he did to Bush, didn't you? So, talking about his brother.
Oh.
Well, what does Bush not want to do? What does
He doesn't want him to be associated with his brother.
so what does Trump do?
Talks about it.
Trump talks about his brother, and what does Bush do? Takes the bait, hook, line, and sinker. People want him because he'll do that with China. He'll do that with Russia. He ain't stupid. He's very smart. He's very clever. I see Trump Carson is what I see in the future. I wanted it to be Trump Figurina, but I don't think that's going to happen. And Carson and Trump's getting death threats, but I know where half of Carson's death threats are coming from. Anybody want to take a guess?
White supremacists.
Mm-mm.
Muslim.
The plantation. If you don't know what the plantation is, you might want to Google it.
Well, didn't he say, like, a lot of people were mad that he said he didn't think a Muslim should be in the White House?
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm just saying, like a lot of people got really mad over it.
Would you want a communist in the White House? Would you want a racist in the White House? Now, there's nothing wrong with a Muslim, no. But you can't have Sharia law and have the Constitution side by side. You can't do that. And a lot of Muslims believe in Sharia law.
Yep.
Some of y'all going, what's Sharia law? Google it. Dang old stoning women, dang old beating women. What he was saying was, if a person isn't aligned with the Constitution of the United States, they shouldn't run for president. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Some of y'all might can figure out what I'm thinking about right now, past 8 years. But anyway,
The rule of thumb is still in effect in West Virginia.
the what?
The rule of thumb.
What is that?
You can still beat your wife with a...
Oh yeah, you can do that in South Carolina, as long as it's on the courthouse steps.
Really?
Yeah. So Miss Anthony, you better watch out. You get the wrong guy, you're going to be in trouble.
Is that still legal nationwide or just a few states?
I don't know. I really don't.
Wait, why can you only do it on the, that doesn't make sense.
In public. You have to do it in public. That way she's even more humiliated. Put the hammer down. I'm kidding.
I dare some guy try, oh, so help me Jesus. I'd kill somebody.
See, she's threatening people. So
Yeah.
write it down. She's threatening people.
Hey, it's in public, though. We're in public.
Okay. In public. There's our 8 by 3. So 3 is to 8 as what? R is to H. Dang old 3H is equal to 8R. And R is equal to 3/8 H. We good? Now what we're doing is we're setting up. So this would be setting up. So if you had this problem on the test and they asked you to set it up, this would be your first part of setting up. And the second part would be taking the derivative or plugging chugging. So all of these, the 3 setting up parts, that would be in setting up, and then the final answer would be doing your math. So R, so V is equal to 1/3 pi parentheses squared H, and we got 3/8 H, 3/8 H, and what am I going to do with that 3/8?
Pull it out.
Thank you. V is equal to 3/8 times 1/3. Oh my gosh.
Don't you gotta square that, though? The 3.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. And H squared times H is H cubed. Now let's clean this up. Now, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and cancel out one of the 3's, because this is 3 times 3 over 8 times 8, right? So that'll take that one out. That'll leave 3 over 64. Y'all help me out. 3 over 64 pi h to the third. Okay, so there is our formula. Now take the derivative of it. So if you haven't taken the derivative, go ahead and do that. In respect to what? Time. So again, this part, one, 2, and 3 is all setting up. So if you were doing, let's say the shadow problem, and if you were doing the shadow problem, the setting up would be everything from the Pythagorean theorem, finding h or finding x, all the way until you get to the derivative of, what is it? Is it 2x squared plus 2y squared is equal to a number or something, and you take the derivative of that? I can't remember. Or x squared plus y squared is equal, and when you get the 2x plus 2x dx dt plus 2y dy dt is equal to 0 or whatever, that's the end of the setup. And then, of course, the third part would be plugging and chugging in your numbers. And that's what we're fixing to do. Oh, we've got to take the derivative. So we're still in setting up mode. D dt of v is equal to 3/64 pi h cubed. And that's going to be dv dt is equal to the 3/64 pi does what? Comes out 3 pi over 64. 3h squared dh what? dt. And that 3 is going to do what? Multiply by that 3. dv dt is equal to 9 pi over 64 h squared dh dt. And at this point, the setup is done. When you get to the dv dt and the dx dt's and the ds dt's, when you get to that point, your setup is done. So the setup starts from